It takes one finger to pull a trigger to take a life.
My phone clicked in, and then somebody had told me at that point that Johnny was dead. Johnny laid on the ground for 90 minutes. I ran. I just felt like I could not tell my daughter that her brother was gone. The pain was so unbearing.
After he died, like, I had to take some time. Like, I didn't even talk to my own. I didn't talk to my stepmother for months. Like, it's like a blame game. I blamed her. I blamed myself. Like, I could have been a better sister.
You know, he was killed on our front porch. He was shot on our front porch. Yes, downstairs. When you see that flower, Antoine was sitting there when he got shot.
When they brought him out the ambulance, I could tell my son was already gone. He wasn't responding to anything, and it's just the way he looked, like he was asleep. I think that's about the time I kind of like completely just lost it. I just stood in the corner and just cried and didn't know what I was gonna tell her. So it was kind of like the biggest loss I ever took in my life.
The hardest part for me was telling Amani what had happened to Antoine, because they were really close. And having to tell Amani that, I just felt like during this whole process of going through the loss of Antoine, like I lost both of my sons, you know, one to the actual death and one to the effects of his brother dying. In the beginning, I want to say, I felt like I was dead too.
I lost my sister not too long ago, a few months back. I mean, shit, I heard at first. You know, a few tears, talk about it, get it out. And that was it, you know?
My brother's killed because he was mistaken as a rival gang member. My world was shaken in a way that you're just so unprepared for. Words can really not describe the feeling.
The family is definitely distant from each other now. It's like we can't be around each other without the pain. There's the nieces and nephews that, the couple of them talk about him all the time. And there's one, his oldest niece cries for him all the time. So it's a major effect on the whole family.
After that night, it's just been like real hard because I struggle with my faith. You said if I believe in you, the weapon formed against you will hurt you, but still a weapon took my son's life. So you're supposed to protect us, and I pray every night. We go to church. Why wasn't you there to protect us? I even asked God, save him and take my life. That way he'll be here to do what he needs to do.
Even in our family where we are really close-knit and tight, I have to say that it is really torn us apart because we're all really grieving very differently and really not knowing how to support the other in the way that they need to be supported. It can be detrimental to families. And not only to families, but communities, because these families make up the community.
TEEP is an excellence program. We try to empower them with our 5 core values, the 5 R's, which are respect, restraint, responsibility, reciprocity, and redemption.
We had heard of it on the news, but we didn't know who it was, because they didn't mention the name. So they just said a young man was murdered.
My mom watched him grow up with us, and then so she took it really, really, really hard.
We want to empower not just the students, but the families to be agents of community transformation.
I just take it day by day. Try to keep it off my mind, but at the same time, let it out in a positive way. Saying whatever that may be, whether it be from basketball to going to work, school.
The Student Potential is a therapeutic, arts-based, trauma-informed job training program. We believe if we can provide a safe space where they feel respected, they feel that they can express themselves, they feel that they can be authentic, then they can really see the self-worth and the potential that is inside of them. They want to be successful.
What would you say to anybody, man, who has an experience All I can say is you don't want to.
Remember when we started the siblings group and we had someone who had just lost his brother and he came to the group and he felt a little bit out of place. Lewis, the young man.
I told him, I feel your pain. Like, I don't share the same brother, but I did lose my brother too. So we share the same problem. So I can kind of help you get through it.
In the context of violence and what we're looking at in our city, we're talking about the physical, emotional, mental, and I would say spiritual impact and the disarrangement that violence has on the lives of people.
The reason I created the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute was really my way of I would say, channeling my pain and anger into power and action.
Fortunately, with interventions and care and treatment and support and love from a community, the trauma itself can be resolved so that the memory no longer triggers the maladaptive, if you will, behavior that disturbs both self and community.
I had to go see a psychiatrist, and I had to go twice a week. I had to get my daughter involved with a psychiatrist as well. My younger daughter, once again, was very frustrated because they kept telling me she was having anxiety attacks. It was like a nightmare. She would be afraid to come home. She sometimes had to maneuver from room to room. We had to change the house around because, she would refuse to come in Johnny's room and talk about Johnny. But she's now been diagnosed with seizures caused by a traumatic event. So she's now on medication for seizures. These are clinical findings, so she had to be hospitalized a couple of times.
The family comes to us, and our primary focus is preparing them from death notification to post-funeral activities.
Burying a child and you don't cope. Some days I can function normally. There's some days I can't stop crying. You can't move. I have to reiterate with myself like he's really not coming home.
After you've laid your loved one to rest, there's another whole world that we have to deal with. So really letting them know that healing, grief counseling, support group, formal or informal, psychologists, just talking to somebody.
They took a piece of our life, you know what I'm saying? But I'm grateful that we're able to get up and still function and do what we need to do as a family.
Certainly prayer, putting God first. And I think also, really looking at therapy, not only individually, but as a family.
It took her a lot being in my ear constantly, even though I didn't want to hear it. I tried to shut her out, but she brought me a long way.
I think if it wasn't for my daughter, I think that I may be institutionalized or, think of, taking my ways out to join them. But knowing that I have a job to do, I have to maintain that. So basically, the coping skill would be getting up and just putting one foot in front of the other. And it's literally those steps.
There are many things that go on at the Peace Institute. And one of the spaces we have is called our Sand Play Room. We have a group called Young Peace Warriors, and those are the siblings and children of those who have been murdered, who have come and have been trained in this sand play, wordplay. So we see that as alternative therapy for the next generation. Audrey is in school, she's at Springfield College, and her son really said to her, "You don't know what I'm going through. It was my brother that was killed." It shocked her that she couldn't understand why he was saying that, but then realizing that she didn't understand what he was going through, because, we're told by our children that siblings' grief is completely different than a mother losing her child. So Audrey really, through her school project, she developed a Young Survivors group, and they worked through that group, and it's healing through the art. They decided to create Peaceville. And each one of them created their space, and then they connected it with the 7 principles of peace. So the Leadership Center is a space where the young people created. It's a space where we meet with families and really, again, transforming their pain and anger into power and action, where the young people are being trained not only on how to stop the cycle of violence, but they're really doing some hard inner work. What is trauma? What is grief? Understanding all the things that come along with trauma.
He's come a long way from where he was 4.5 years ago. And I think that's with being at the Peace Institute. It's our other family, what I call my other family, which is other survivors of homicide who have helped us all go through this process. We help each other go through this process. Traditional therapy doesn't work for Amani. To be sitting in a room one-on-one and talk about what's going on with him and how he feels about the loss of his brother, but being in an environment with other children and they're actually in the therapeutic setting and they don't even realize it because they're doing art or whatever, he was able to get a lot off his chest.
Anytime anyone takes their trauma, their pain, and directs it inward, it can only turn into destruction.
So, I got justice at the court. I got love at home. And I'm kind of working on forgiving. So, yeah, it's kind of working out.
Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and longing for heaven and home when Jesus is my portion, my constant friend